Well, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing and whoever you're lucky enough to be doing it too, I'm Bushka on Blitz, and I'm back with the first of 2018's brand spanking new masterclasses. Now, this is a bit of a concept where I'm going to be getting the best drivers in the world to talk about the tanks that they love driving the most, and they drive, well, pretty bloody well. And first off the bat, I've got Vovko from, well, it's Clan UNIQ now, mate, isn't it?
Yeah, we're renamed, so now we decided to stay unique, so now we're unique.
UNIQ, renamed, rebranded. You've got a big advertising campaign coming out in the summer. Actually, you are doing a little bit of fun stuff, which we might get to in another video, but suffice to say, you're talking about taking on some people from the forums and training people up and maybe getting a bit more involved in the community.
Yeah, that's like a concept we're driving towards right now. We want to take several people and just train them with, assign them a player, and they'll tune with them, learn, play with voice and everything, and if you're good enough, we can keep you and assign you to one of our 4 teams.
Yeah, well, I think that's I don't think that's ever been done before, really. Like, that's one of the strongest clans on NA, with some of the best players in the world, running around and offering their services to basically run people through the game and see if they can get good enough to play with them. That's incredible. It's pretty incredible. I'm actually pretty flabbergasted by that. But I digress. We can talk about that in another video. There's certainly a lot of stuff to talk about with that. But what I've really got you here for today is the Batchat. Now, I saw you driving the Batchat both in Las Vegas at the Mobile Masters and in Minsk. And I'd have to say you are pretty freaking good at the Batchat.
Well, I can't say so about myself, but maybe. I don't know.
Now, there's a lot of good Batchat drivers in the world, but it was a pleasure to watch you driving it. And I've actually seen you running around. I've got some of the gameplay that you can see, guys, if you're watching this. That is Vovko rolling about on the Batchat. And he does very well in it. Has a bit of a giggle with it too. That's one of the things I do know from driving with you, that you don't just run for numbers all the time and run for stats. I've been lucky enough to have you on stream and watch you stream on Twitch before, and you do have an awful lot of fun in the game itself.
Yeah. Like today, I tried to show the way, and I yellowed middle on mines with the grilly. Got deleted.
Showing the way. God, don't start that video up, mate. That thing is everywhere. Like, this is the way. This is the way. This is the queen. All this kind of weird stuff. Oh, yeah. We're not doing that. Now, what is it about the Batchat that really draws you in? Because it is a tank you drive an awful lot.
The Batchat, I'm not sure. Like, when we went to Vegas, we just needed a Batchat as a concept, because I found that on Castilla you could cap C with a Batchat without getting spotted. It's like it blew my mind when they actually buffed the Batchat to become a light tank. I noticed this. I know there's this spot even before they made it a light tank, and I talked to devs and I told them, if you make it a light tank, I'll cap C without getting spotted on Twister. They didn't believe me, but as you could tell.
Yeah, it happened. That was actually a really funny game. I remember that on Twister, where no one could see anyone on that flank, and they're just like kind of looking at each other. Like if you watch it back, you can see, I can see all the teams, but you guys are like just circling around. Is he there? Is he there? Is he there? It was really pretty cool.
Yeah, I heard so many blind shots going off around me. Ooh,
So the Batchat in public games, though, is a very, very different animal. Hey, it's not like it's played in tournaments at all.
Yeah, it's like a totally different tank. You can really do damage on it unless you're super lucky, and like the whole enemy teams goes to one side of the map, you go to another, and you just sit and farm. But otherwise, your purpose is to spot for your team even when you're playing pub battles, because then it basically gives them information. Even a 40%er, if he knows where all the 7 enemy tanks are, he might do something better than yellow and middle to get that information.
Yeah, and I think that's something that was really overlooked, especially in the current meta when there's so many TDs around, that a good player in a Batchat can really improve the value of the rest of his teammates. Do you find that at all with the light?
Yeah. I could see the improvement on my team gameplay while I play Batchat to spot, not to deal damage. if I like take aggressive positions, play it properly, I can certainly see the improvement, especially for our TDs, because I take a note where our TDs are located, so I try to spot to make it easier for them to hit the enemy, and then we win. Even though I do like 2.5k damage, I get like 3 or 4k spotting damage, and that's a win anyway. So I'm cool with
That's
that.
pretty big numbers, and I think it's also pretty cool that you drive it like that, despite the fact that, I mean, you have tanks that you have big damage numbers in and such, but you don't just focus on the damage of the tank. How do you feel the Batchat is now versus when it was first released with that camo change?
Camo change just changed the tank completely. It's a whole new tank that you should explore. If you played a Batchat as a medium tank, you did not like it. I get where it's coming from, but
Yeah.
trust me, try it again. You'll love the tank. Right now, it's truly a light tank, and while it was a medium tank, it was like somewhat of a crappy damage dealer.
Yeah.
So, like a leopard with a clip, and it wasn't played too much because a leopard with a clip sounds ridiculous. I'm glad Wargaming understood that.
Yeah. Well, there was a fair bit of angst and anger. I mean, I did a review on the tank itself, and it was obvious that it didn't have on the move camouflage, and we talked about it, and Wargaming came back with some weird idea that it was actually a light tank doesn't mean it's a light tank, or it gets light tank camo, apart from the fact that every other light tank in the game had light tank on the move camouflage. So it was almost like they just cheated a little bit and left that out and not told anyone. And lo and behold, they changed it up, and it's been a much more popular tank. Now, are there any maps that you look at with the Batchat and straight away you start up and you go, oh, gee, I wish I wasn't in a Batchat here?
I would say Himmelsdorf.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate Himmelsdorf on the Batchat, even though there's one super cool spot. I'm not sure if you have it in one of our gameplay videos from trainings against Primo or our games against Primo. I'm not sure if you got that spot right now and if you can show it. But basically, the spot is game breaking, especially in competitive play.
Well,
but
everyone's going to
otherwise,
want to know where that spot is now. But
you'll know. Watch us play Himmelsdorf.
Oh, God. So there you go. That's you're going to have to watch UNIQ play Himmelsdorf in tournaments, and you'll find out the secret Batchat spot. I'll do my best to try and find some footage, but I don't like your chances. Do you, if you could change one thing about the tank, what would it be? And I mean, I know that's putting you on the spot because you haven't really had a chance to think about that.
I would change the... I'm not even sure. I'd probably give it more penetration, because...
What about the gun depression and the gun elevation? Does that ever wind you up? I have so many issues with that tank. Getting shots off at times where I know the shot's there, but I'm just fidgeting backwards and forwards trying to get the tank to actually get a shot when there's any kind of slope on the ground.
I mean, I try to take positions where I'm either able to shot or where I barely poke with my Capola, so I'm able to spot the enemy, and then I don't care about shooting, because if I shoot, I get spotted. So don't shoot anyways. Why even care about my gun?
Yeah, so you're playing it very much there as like a passive spotter for the rest of your team, and really working on that, which is pretty amazing, actually. That is a I mean, if you guys are listening to this and you're wondering how people who know the mechanics of the game and play it at a very high level work, the idea that they're not just farming damage off your back is probably a shocking one. A lot of people don't really expect that from top tier players. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Well, it's quite hard to do sometimes, because it's tempting to just sit in the back and deal damage. You know, you'll win if you deal damage from the back, but then where's the fun? And I don't play pub battles that much, but when I play them, I mostly play them to find some positions. So most of the time, I take the most weird spots ever. And I mean, if I don't die in pubs, then it'll work in training rooms. If I die in pubs, well, too bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that we did a stream and you showed me a great spot on Port Bay, above the spawn in the Batchat. And
oh yeah.
And you didn't. It was like, who cares? Like, it's a pub game. I'm here to learn. Do you treat public games in a tank like the Batchat like that? I mean, you just said you did, but Is that really a thing where you go in there to work on the tank itself?
Uh, Pretty much, yeah. Especially if I don't play batches for some time, like if I'm on a different tank during the trainings for the past week, let's say, I try to go in pubs and just roll out my Batchat to get used to it, because I know, let's say, we'll use it tomorrow, so I just play some pubs, try the most weird stuff, just to get the idea of the limits of the tank, where I should stop, where I should go, and all that stuff.
I mean, that's a whole different game to the one everyone else is playing. You understand that, don't you, Vovko? Like, everyone else is out there.
They're just having a beer, just rolling in tank. They're fine. And there's a badge trying something. Yeah.
And then you're just like, I've got to get the best spot. Like, I've got to find a spot that's different, because that is actually going to help you win tournaments. And for you, I guess, that's where most of the gameplay is in Blitz.
Yeah. Tournaments, it's a whole new world. I'm really thankful that Wargaming actually are going the competitive route. They're making ratings 2.0. They're gonna be so much greater. I talked about them a lot, and I'll play rating battles all the time if they're as good as they teased.
Yeah, they are making some big changes, and I think that's a huge part of the game. Like, a Batchat in that instance, from someone like you who's driven it in a really team-friendly manner, would be a valuable tank to have, as opposed to, someone trying to farm damage in a Batchat in a ratings game.
Yeah, certainly. The Batchat, especially if your team understands that the Batchat is not a damage dealer, and you don't yellow on the Batchat to get a kill or just die, basically. If they understand that I'm sitting in the bush and I have a purpose, I'm not just like there, then it's gonna be a win, most likely.
Yeah. Now, is there any particular spot that you are desperate to get to in the Batchat at the start of the game that you know is going to be just like an absolute game winner, apart from maybe that secret spot, which we don't know about yet on Himmel's Door? Are there any maps where you kick off and you're like, I've got to get there, I've got to get there, I've got to get there?
Yeah, Castilla. There's another very nice spot. It's not like too secret. It's kind of obvious. There's like 2 steps to that spot, and second step is actually getting the C cap. And yesterday we had a good, successful training session against GP. I'm really glad that they did play with us on Castilla. And now we have even a better way to play my Batchat near the seaside. So you'll see it again in tournaments. And I'll probably, because it's not such a secret, I'll probably record something and show you the video, because yesterday I just forgot to record it. But it's going to be there. Yeah. You'll see it, guys.
That sounds pretty cool. Now, for those of you who are wondering, Vovko, what's your Twitch channel?
Twitch channel. Right now I've renamed back to Vovko, because everyone just calls me Vovko. Like, I tried, but...
Well, it's probably a bit of a problem too when I was doing the live streams and that, going, g'day Vovko, and it's like, it's Windforce, but no, it's Vovko.
Oh, yeah. Wait, who's Windforce?
So, one of the other things I noticed when you're playing the tank itself is just how aware you are of absolutely everything that's going on around you, and how often, how hard you work at not giving away easy hit points and only making really good hit point trades. Do you think that's something that is really hard to do in the Batchat because of the armor profile, or do you find that's not particularly tough to do at all?
It's really tough because it's tempting to go in and try to kill someone or deal damage. And if you watch my streams, well, I didn't stream too much lately, but if you watch my streams while I play in the Batchat, you see that it's clear as day when I make a mistake and try to go in. You see that I'm full HP, end of the battle, and then like, boom, after 10 seconds, I'm at 300 HP. I can't do anything right now.
Yeah, it is a pretty crazy tank for that whole one mistake and you get punished for it.
Yeah, yeah, it's terrible. Especially against 183s. They just sit there, click, Batchat, done. Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, you know my opinion on the 183 at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm not a real fan of it. But one of the reasons I do love the Batchat is if you're a little bit sneaky, I feel like you can really negate some of those big tanks. And I want to talk in a sec about a particular game that you sent me on Middleburg.
Oh, yeah.
Which is pretty cool. But you also sent me another game on Naval Frontier where it really speaks to that hit point trading thing, where you conserve hit points the whole game. And you work really, really well in close against, first it's a VK4502B, and then it's a T62A, and you're never more than like 10 meters away from the two tanks, but you only lose about a third of your hit points. If you're talking to someone who's just starting out down like the French light line, and they've got to try and do that stuff, what's your brain process when that's going on?
Basically, it's mostly the same for all medium tanks, or if you're fighting two or more tanks at the same time, it's basically the same, but on the Batchat it's just easier and you could use it much more. If you're fighting several tanks, make sure one of them yellows you, and then you can hide behind him from his teammates.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. So you want to actually draw someone in at the start of that whole encounter so that you can use him as your cover.
Yeah, correct. It's really simple most of the time, because guys, usually if it's like you're encountering two heavies and a medium will yellow. So you just track him at the right distance. You gotta calculate it properly. Track him if you can. If not, just try to hug him, face hug him. Don't let him get on your side. Make sure you hide your body behind him. So when you're done with him, it's like his dead body is like a rock for you. It's even better now. Yeah. He doesn't even shoot.
Yeah. Well, mate, I tell you what, on Naval Frontier, it is an absolute treat to watch how you consistently isolate tank after tank and work down the hit point pool. And it takes you all the way down till just about the very, very end of the game. And it's you versus an E100, and you're still abusing all kind of mechanics, particularly the brush. You're using that to try and stay alive and get shots in. Do you run a camo net, or do you rely on optics?
I rely on optics because Batchat has a really unique camo system. It's pretty low, and everything basically plays for you in the camo. So why not go for optics and see people? And there's also like two things you should know about the Batchat. If you're sitting in a bush, not shooting, moving doesn't, like if you're moving, it does not matter. As long as you're properly taking the positions in the bushes, enemies will spot you around 79, 78 meters. If you're just like stationary or moving without any
That's
shots.
pretty cool.
And if you're shooting, cool. It's about 130, 135 meters, depending on the terrain. So that's like, you should abuse that as much as possible. Because
that is a great tip. That is two absolutely brilliant tips. So if you guys are watching this and you're grinding up the French light line, that is one thing I do actually quite like about the French lights, is there's a lot of consistency throughout them, the tank types and the characteristics. I mean, some of them are worse than others, of course, but you can still work those same things, like the brush and then taking a couple of tanks on at one time. Let's talk specifically about the match on Middleburg. You go top, and there is yourself and a T-54E1 autoloader up there. You're solo in that match, and you catch a lot of tanks coming up the hill at the start.
Yeah, I try to be aware. That's why I move aggressively at the start of the match, because if I know that 7 guys went uphill, for example, then if I poke any angle on the hill, I can see 7 tanks there. So I gotta play extremely cautious and not poke corners before I get any information. And basically that's the whole gameplay on the Batchat. You spot all of them first, then you see whoever's alone, and you can go and kill them.
Yeah, that sounds so easy. Like, of course, absolutely, that's how you play the Batchat. I also noticed you do angle up, so you use the armor on the Batchat at the front quite a bit, don't you, when you're about to poke?
Yeah, frontal plate is angled so crazy. Like even YAG or 183 bounces me sometimes. It's just something unreal. So make sure you get use of it. Like if you just face hug someone, he'll pen you anyways. So why not give it a chance? If you angle just a bit, he might not pen. I mean, don't rely on that. Do not ever rely on someone not penning you, but it's a nice bonus to save like 300 or 400 HP for the end of the battle.
Will you ever adjust your tank if you think someone's going to fire H at you to actually go on the side or anything like that?
Yeah, I know that if people shoot me with HE, they can pen me in the turret. No matter what I do, they pen me in the turret. But sometimes people make a mistake and shoot me in my actual body of the tank, try to lower plate, upper plate. So I just angle about 45 degrees. This makes sure they cannot pen me anywhere with HE for full damage.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Like that, and that's basically just that risk mitigation is pretty important because you're not going to bounce any shots anyway, are you?
Yeah. So why not try to minimize the risk? If you're like, you're not gonna bounce. Yeah, for real. Forget about it. It's not gonna happen.
Do you so equipment-wise, tell us your equipment loadout.
Equipment. I run everything for penetration, and I run stabilization, vertical stabs, whatever this stuff is. I think I run vertical stabs, calibrated shells, and the other thing for accuracy, and it's the shell speed. Shell velocity is crucial in the
shell
Batchat.
velocity. Supercharger.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. What about in terms of, do you run traverse or acceleration?
I run traverse because Batchat is fast, but it turns pretty bad, so traverse is a must-have.
All right. Now, we're in the vinegar strokes here, the very end bit of the Middleburg game. There's 3 tanks left. You've got a Kolobanov on the offer. You're dealing with an Object 268 who's all up in your face. There's an Object 140 who's pushed forward, and you are doing exactly what we talked about before. You've got the 140 to YOLO you, and then you're playing both tanks off each other. It's actually pretty amazing to watch, I gotta say. You get a full reload in while you're still getting shot by a 140 and a 268.
Yeah, at that moment I was not thinking about the 140 at all. Like, I know I'm on clip, I'm thinking what's gonna happen next. What about the Tortoise? What about that 268? What are they going to do? Will they yellow me, try to flank me? Or can I use this 140? Like, it doesn't matter if I take damage from him. Because as long as they don't shoot me, the TDs don't shoot me, he will never deal the same amount of damage, actual damage, like to the modules. He will never track me in that position. He'll just deal raw damage, and I have HP, so I can trade it. Go ahead, do it. I have time to think, to reload, so by all means.
You hit a mad shot on the 268 over the carcass of the Object 140 as well, which is just crazy. And for those watching this who don't realise, this is a game for a RAS. This is a 7-kill game in the offing here, and we're watching this, and it's you versus a 268, a minute 40 left, and you're both one-shots. Well, you've been a one-shot for the 268 for about 3 years, and you get him. What was that the best game you think you've ever played in the Batchat?
Absolutely. It's the best game. Like, I never had so much adrenaline on my Batchat. And when I realized, I think it was on a stream too, and when I realized that I have 3 shots, you'll see in the end, I shoot the ground. Not just because I want to kill the last enemy with the last shot, because I rely on the dumb factor. So I'm like, what if 268 thinks that I just shot into the ground and I'm now on reload? I gotta try it. It's my last chance, my only chance. Let's try it. And it worked out.
That is crazy. I didn't even realize that. So we'll have to go back and look at that again. But so you actually have bluffed him out there by shooting that last shot.
Yeah, I had like
That's
2
insane.
or 3 shots in the clip, and I shot almost, like, I shot everything except I left 1 shot for myself to kill the 268, and I just shot the other shells I had into the ground, like right next to him. So he thinks that I'm trying to shoot him, and I missed. So now he can push while I'm on reload.
That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Now that's the kind of thinking that we need here at Bushka on Blitz. I need some of that. Do you have any real little tips and tricks before we go that you would like to pass along regarding the tank, or is there anything that you'd really like to talk about with regard to it?
I mean, experiment by all means. It's the best tank to experiment around the map. You can rotate. Definitely do rotations. Experiment with those the most, because you can get on the other side of the map in like 10 seconds. And it could just impact your game so much.
That really has been an eye-opener for me. The fact that you get in this tank and you just try things, you experiment. It's so frustrating to hear from people who are freaking out about their win rate and their damage numbers and everything like that. And it must be very liberating too to drive a tank like this and just push it to its limits and see where it goes.
Yeah, because people don't like, oh, you got 2400 on your Batchat. They see how I play the Batchat and they put me on the Batchat in competitive. So that's like I think no one ever tells me that my Batchat stats are garbage. They are garbage for like any other tier 10 medium, or well, no, there are no light tanks, but any other tier 10 tank. But I still don't get trashed for that. People just give me team player and all that stuff, like just for spotting damage and just for being in the match and playing it right.
Yeah, I love that, mate, and keep doing that. I think that's something that's that is quite often missing from Blitz itself is the need to play that kind of role in a game. I think it's pretty spectacular, mate. Thanks, Vovko. Thank you so much for coming along. Thanks. It was lovely seeing you in both Vegas and in Minsk, and for having a great bit of giggle over there. And I wish you guys the best of luck with the new clan, giving Pramo and Purple a bit of a run for their money. If you don't know, guys, there is a fantastic video up on channel of one of the Gold Series, just hammer and tong. You guys and Pramo going hammer and tong at it, and it came down to the very, very last match. Have you got them back yet, or is that still on the cards?
I'm not sure because they moved the teams a lot between Primo and Purple, so I'm not sure if we got them yet. Because we took a break basically for the Christmas and all that stuff for the New Year for the past month. But we'll definitely get them this Thursday. We'll get Purple, and I think we're getting Primo at the end of the week or like next Monday.
Well, mate, best of luck with it, and congratulations on on the new clan and progressing forward this Twister season.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you, Bushka. It was nice to meet you. Nice to talk to you. And stay unique. Join unique.
Yes, stay unique. And don't forget to check out Vovko's Twitch channel. What is it again, Vovko?
Right now it's just Vovko.
Just Vovko. Just check out Vovko on Twitch. And are you doing much more stuff on the YouTube side of things?
I'm planning to resume my videos on my channel, but so far I'm not sure if I'll be capable because I got college right now. That's starting like in a week, so I'll have to see, especially about YouTube because it's pretty time consuming. But for Twitch, I'll try to stream. I was about to stream right now. Actually, I'll probably go stream right now.
Well, you rock on, amigo. I'm going to go cut the video and work hard for a living here. Hardly working. See you next time, mate.
Yep,
Thank you all for watching. Look after yourselves and stay safe on the battlefield.